Hello! So, we haven't done a cooking recipe video in quite some time. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to make my famous dinner rolls. My dinner rolls are great for making for the holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, hey, even Easter. They're a very simple recipe and it takes about 3.5 hours to get it done. Most of it's because of not necessarily the mixing, but the proofing takes forever. But yeah, so I want to go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start first by showing you the ingredients. And then from there on in, we will go on from mixture and good old mixing. Let's go ahead and show you out the ingredients. We have 2 tablespoons of yeast, 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 large eggs, and then we have 6 cups of flour. Now I go ahead and I split the flour up for 5.5 and a half because I sift in the last half cup just to help with texture and everything. And then also we have 6.5 tablespoons of softened butter. And then we're gonna go ahead and fill up this bad boy real fast with 2 cups of milk, which then we would have to warm, and then we would add our yeast to it. So that way it can go ahead and activate. So while we're mixing everything and putting stuff in, the yeast and the milk can activate. And then we'll pour that in, followed by the flour, and then we begin mixing. You can do this by hand if you wish to stay in here and get crab hands. Or you can get yourself a nice little mixer, KitchenAid, whatever, food processor. And just make sure you got it. And a dough hook. Don't use a paddle, don't use a whisk, dough hook. All right then, well, with all that, let's go ahead and get our stuff together now. There we go, bam. All right, it's warmed up. The wait time, it's killing, 30 seconds. You never want to put the milk in for like a whole minute or something. Start like 30, then test it. And then see, if it's still a little cold and not that lukewarm yet, go ahead and add, another 15, 20 seconds. It all depends on the power of your microwave as well. But you don't want to curdle it. Yep, that's nice and warm. Not hot. Not to the point where it scalds your finger. But now we're going to go ahead and add some yeast. I'm going to go ahead and mix it in with a fork real fast, just so it's all submerged, and then we're going to let it do its science. Yeast is done now, activating. So let's go ahead and start adding in our dry ingredients, and then we'll go ahead and add the milk and yeast, followed by the flour, and we'll start getting ready. So first things first, we're going to add the salt, sugar, 2 large eggs, and then the 6 tablespoons of softened salted butter. And now we're going to go ahead and add our milk and activated yeast. And then next thing you know, we're going to go ahead and add our flour.
This is kind of a dump everything in at once, huh?
It's just about, but you want to be able to control it, because if you try to dump and it overflows and falls everywhere, and then you got a bigger mess. All right, so now that we added our 5.5 of our 6 cups of flour, we're going to go ahead and add the dough hook down, put this down, lock it, and then we're going to start doing stir. We're going to let it go ahead and do its little mixture for a bit, so that way all the ingredients can go up, and then we're going to crank it up to speed and see where we're at. So as you can see right now, it's mixing. It's coming together really well. You can see that the yeast and everything's mixing together. So now that it's got itself starting to bind together, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to speed. to help it, and then I'm going to start adding in the last half a cup of flour. All right, so we just added the last half cup of flour. Now you might have to add a little bit more depending on the texture. You're just going to want to pay attention to it. Right now, it's grabbing everything below, which is really great. We're just wanting to see it all come together. So we might not have to add any. We might have to add a little. Right now, I'm liking how it's coming together. We're going to do the feel test to see how it feels. You want to make sure the dough doesn't really stick to you. You don't want to be so elastic, or like what my wife likes to call the window test, where you open it up and it's like a window. All right, so we get ahead a little bit more mixture. We're going to see how the texture is. It was just right there, but judging how it's just coming out like a nothing, and as you can see on my hand, nothing sticking. I think this dough, it's coming off pretty nice. And I'm liking the texture from it. There's a lot of times I'm in here where either I got to let it run for a little bit longer, add a little bit more flour, but we believe that the yeast really activated. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and pull this out and get it going. But first things first, before I pull it out, I'm going to go ahead and get my bowl ready. And also, it's any kind of bowl. You can get a big bowl. We have this bad boy right here. So all I'm going to do is just spray it down with some cooking spray, any kind of olive oil, corn oil, whatever you want to use. So this way, when you put it in, it will sit and expand. And then when you roll it out, it doesn't stick to the bowl at all. So let's do that first. Simple. And then let's pull this bad boy out. Bam, look at that. Basically almost clean. So all we're going to do now is simple. Just roll it into a big ball. All we're doing is just tightening it up. That's all. Just tightening it up. And then you do the next best thing. You drop it in there. We're going to go ahead and saran wrap it. And then now begins the one part that you cannot rush. Proofing. This takes a 90-minute proof. After 90 minutes, we're going to come back. We're going to take them out. We're going to roll them up. And then we got to proof them again. A whole nother hour. But we'll come back to that in a little bit. So right now, let's get this covered up and let the wait time begin. All right, as you can see, proofing is done.
Look at that big guy.
So we're gonna go ahead and pull this off. You can see it almost doubled in size. Ooh, that's nice. So we're gonna go ahead and pull it out of the bowl, and we're gonna go ahead and begin our rollout. Now we're going to go ahead and roll it back into a ball, like so. The texture's right and feel.
It's got a great smell to it.
Oh yeah, that's the best thing about that, great smell. So we're going to go ahead and roll out one real fast to show you guys how to do this. So you want to grab enough to make about the size of a golf ball. So you can start like that, and then I go ahead and I bear claw it, sorry. And what you're doing is, when you're doing this, you're shaping it, but also getting the gluten going again. And boom, there it is. All nice and tucked in. And before we go ahead and we put these on the pan, the very important thing to do, make sure you spray down your pan. This way they're not stuck. They don't, You don't have to sit there and start scraping them off. And that's it. So we're going to try to do 5 across and maybe 5 or 6 down, depending on how many we get. So there's our first one. We're going to go ahead and get the rest of these rolled out now. After we get these rolled out, we got to let them set for 1 more hour of proofing. Yes, another hour of proofing. And we're going to cover those up. Instead of just doing a saran wrap, we're just going to go ahead and put a cloth on it because they got to take shape. And then about half hour near the end of the proofing, we're going to go in and prep the oven so that way it's nice and hot. And then after that, we're going to shoot them in once they're done. And then we're going to start working on our glaze, honey and butter glaze. So, all right then. So let's get this done. Here we are. We're all rolled out. Hope you guys enjoyed watching what I was doing. And so now we're up to our last and final part right here before it can go in the oven. The final proofing. 1 more hour. We're going to go ahead and cover these up with just towels. Dry towels. They don't have to be damped or anything like that. Just standard towels. And then you come back in an hour. We're going to come back in about 30 to 20 minutes before the proofing is done. Get the oven prep. Get the glaze, the honey butter glaze going. And so that way we can be all set to go on from there. So let's get these covered. And that's it. So we'll see you in 1 hour. We're done proofing. So let's see how these guys have grown. And grown.
They look lovely.
They look really, really nice. So what we're going to do right now is I would mostly try to put both of these in at the same time in the oven, but previous times that we've done it, I've always cooked one faster than the other, so we're going to do one at a time. So I'm going to shove the little one in first, get that going. While the little one's going, we're going to go ahead and get the honey butter glaze going now. So let's shoot one of these guys in. One more thing. Make sure you have your oven preset and ready to go at 375. You're going to be putting these rolls in for about 12 minutes, 12 to 14. Now, 2 things. I don't have the glaze done now. We're about to get that done. You could pre-glaze them before they go in, or you do what I'm going to do. I'm going to pre-glaze them when I do their 6-minute rotation inside the oven. It's each its own, whatever you want to do. If you want it to have more of a coating. If not, it's fine. But we're going to go in coatless first, and then around the 6-minute mark, we're going to take them out, coat them up, put them back in, and then we'll go coat them one more time when we bring them out. All right? So let's get these guys in. All right, and it is, well, right now it's 2:19 p.m. So that's the time right now we're going at. So in about 6 minutes, we'll get the glaze on. So right now, as you see, we're melting the butter. We're getting that ready to go. There is no right or wrong ratio when it comes to doing your glaze. You can have it more buttery, a little bit of honey, a lot of honey, a little bit of butter. It all depends on you. You just want to make sure that you don't, when you're melting the butter, you don't burn it. My preference when it comes to doing this glaze is I have a tendency to be a little bit more buttery with a little bit of honey, just to give it that little nice sticky, but also give it a nice little gloss, where you can still taste the honey, but it's not so much. All right, so we have just a standard honey you can get at any kind of store. You can use whatever kind of honey you want. There's nothing has to be specific. So here we go. I'm just going to add a little bit of honey. Yeah, look at that. Just trickling down into the butter. And I think that's going to be it for right now. So now all you're going to do is just stir a little bit. And we're looking at the time. And we're only at 4 minutes right now has passed since we put it in. So we're going to be coming up soon to take out the first small little rack of rolls we got and get those coated up. We're going to go pull out these first guys. Oh, look at those. As you can see, it's starting to brown a little bit, but now we're going to go ahead and put a coat on these guys. All right, and he's going back in for the last 6 minutes. And while that's doing that, I'm going to go get a cooling rack. All right, so as you can see, the cooling rack is ready to go over there. And we're going to go ahead and pull these guys out, put them down, and then put the other full rack ready to go inside.
Ooh,
See, look at that.
wonderful glaze.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's move these right over here real fast. So just get them out of the way. Put these down and cool. And let's get these guys in the oven. Now remember, 350. Remember, 375, 12 to 14 minutes. Rotate around 6 minutes. This way it can all evenly cook. And bake. But remember, when you around the 6 minute mark, when you take them out to rotate, glaze them up. And then you'll get that result, that nice little golden brown. All right, so we're going to go over here. We're going to glaze these guys up. The next method is, switching out, because I'm going to my dominant hand on this one, is to break these away, because even with them out of the oven, this is still hot, they're still cooking, and you don't want to cook them underneath. But you can see, nice little tearaways. But that's what you want right there. Uh-huh. Look at that. Oh, God. These are always a big hit around the holidays. I've been requested, as well as at work, during our potluck that we always do at work. Is everyone loves when I make these fresh and bring them in. Now I'll do 2 batches for work, because there's a lot of us from engineering and my other co-workers, as everyone else from the office building. They're just they never make it to the end of the potluck. They're gone. These also don't make it that much in my family on both sides. Certain people will steal and put them into a Ziploc bag and then throw them in their bread box. And don't think I notice. And then certain people will go ahead and just take them and try to run to their car. Tintin. But that's it right there. So we're going to let this cool down before we put it in the sink. And we got about 3 more minutes before we do a rotate on the last batch. We'll hit those up with a glaze, and then you'll see the full end result. And then the best thing, tasty. Oh, hi. It's been 2 minutes. All right, so let's go ahead and get these guys out and see how they look. Oh yeah, that's what I like right there.
Yeah, get a good handle of it.
Yep.
Whoa.
Oh.
Oh, gracious.
Yep. Shall we come in here? And now we begin the coat, the final coat.
The final countdown. Sorry.
You know you just lost 5 points.
I've been quiet this whole video too. You're welcome.
Look at that. Look at that little glaze. Everything all look nice. All right then. So you get to be the best part, the taste test. And oh, I could see a little steam coming off that sucker.
No.
Yeah, look at that. That's really good. Nice and airy, cooked all the way through. Got a nice little crust on it. You can taste the butter. You can taste a little bit of the sweet of the honey. That's good. But hope you guys enjoy this cooking adventure that I took you guys on and everything. We're going to make sure we put the ingredients and the recipe in the description below so you guys can go ahead and tackle this if you guys choose to. Don't be afraid to comment, like, any concerns, any questions. We will answer them the best way we can. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you on our next home baking adventure. Bye.